Hello again to day number 209. My name is Mary, and today's story title is Zacharias' Vision. Now we are starting the New Testament. Okay, at the time the story of the New Testament begins, the land of Israel, also called the land of Judea, was ruled by a king named Herod. He was the first of several Herods who ruled either the whole land or parts of it. But Herod was not the highest ruler. Many years before this time, the Romans had won all the lands around the Great Sea, which we call the Mediterranean. Above King Herod of Judea was the great king at Rome. So Herod, though king of Judea, obeyed his overlord, the emperor at Rome. At the time this story begins, the emperor at Rome was named Augustus Caesar. At this time, the land where the Jews lived was filled of people. Jerusalem was its largest city. And in Jerusalem was the temple of the Lord, which King Herod had begun to rebuild to take the place of the old temple, built in the time of Zerubbabel, which had long needed repair. There were also many other large cities besides Jerusalem. In the south was Hebron, on the shore of the Great Sea were Gaza, Joppa, and Caesarea. In the middle of the land were Shechem and Samaria. And in the north were Nazareth and Cana. Down by the shore of the Sea of Galilee were Tiberias, Capernaum, and Bethsaida. Far up in the north, at the foot of snowy Mount Hebron, was another Caesarea, so it wouldn't be confused with the Caesarea on the sea coast. This city was called Caesarea Philippi, or Philippi's Caesarea, from the name of one Herod's sons. One day, an old priest named Zacharias was leading the service of worship in the temple. He was standing in front of the golden altar of incense in the holy place and was holding a cup full of burning coals and incense. All the people were worshiping in the court of the temple. Outside the court of the priests, where the great altar stood. Suddenly, Zacharias saw an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense. He felt great fear when he saw this strange being with a shining face. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zacharias. I have come from the Lord to bring you good news. Your wife, Elizabeth, shall have a son, and you shall name him John. You shall be glad, for your son John shall bring joy and gladness to many. He shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and he shall never taste wine or strong drink as long as he lives, but he shall be filled with God's Holy Spirit. He shall lead many of the people of Israel to the Lord, for he shall go before the Lord in the power of Elijah the prophet, as was promised by Malachi, the last of the old prophets. He shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and those who are disobeying the Lord will do his will. As Zacharias heard these words, he was filled with wonder and could hardly believe them. He was an old man, and his wife Elizabeth was as also old. They could not accept to have a child. He said to the angel, "How shall I know your words are true? For I am an old man, and my wife is old." "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God," said the angel, "and I was sent from the Lord to speak to you and bring you this good news. But because you did not believe my words, you shall become dumb and shall not be able to speak until this comes to pass." All this time, the people outside in the court were wondering why the priest was so long in the temple. When he came out, they found he could not speak a word, but he made signs to them, telling them he had seen a vision in the temple. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to our discussion questions. Number 1, who was the ruler in Israel? Could he rule the people any way he wanted? Why or why not? Number 1 has 3 sections to it. The first one, who was the ruler in Israel? The second, could he rule the people any way he wanted? The third part to question number 1, why or why not? Number 2, what did Zacharias see in the temple? What did Zacharias see in the temple? Number 3, what was Zacharias told? What was Zacharias told? Number 4 and last, why couldn't Zacharias speak after he left the temple? Why couldn't Zacharias speak after he left the temple? And with this last question, we come to the end of our story, number 209. It's great to have you with me, attending, listening, and viewing, and maybe discussing the questions afterwards. So, thank you, and may God bless us all until we meet in another day and another story of the bedtime Bible stories. Thank you. Bye bye now.